Welcome to Everyday Tech Explained. Today we're going to be diving into the used EV market, specifically looking at some surprising deals on cars that were previously owned by rental companies. Our deep dive today is based on a recent Autoblog article titled, Hertz Hosting a Fire Sale on Tesla Rental Fleet.
Yeah, that's right. And this fire sale actually reveals a lot about the state of the used EV market as a whole.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's break this down. Hertz is selling a bunch of EVs, including Teslas, for under $20,000.
Wow.
Some are even way cheaper than that. There's a 2021 Hyundai Kona Ultimate with over 130,000 miles listed for just over $12,000. At those prices, it's almost like getting a used Tesla for the price of a new compact car.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. You might actually qualify for the $4,000 federal tax credit for used EVs under $25,000, which could sweeten the deal even further.
Oh, wow.
It's essentially like a discount from the government when you buy a used EV that meets certain criteria.
That's huge. But hold on a second. If these deals are so great, why is Hertz practically giving these cars away?
Well, it turns out that their big bet on Tesla kind of backfired. Remember when Hertz bought a ton of Teslas?
Yeah, it was all over the news.
Right. Well, shortly after that, Tesla started slashing prices, which significantly impacted the resale value of Hertz's fleet.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt. But is this just a Tesla problem, or are other EVs depreciating quickly too?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, it's not just Tesla. The Autoblog article highlights that Hertz is losing a whopping $537 per EV each month due to depreciation. That's almost 90% more than what they lose on their gas-powered cars. It's a staggering difference that translates to over $600 to $400 per year in lost value for each EV.
Wow, that's a huge hit. I thought EVs were supposed to hold their value better than gas cars.
Yeah, that's the common perception, and it has been true in the past. But this situation with Hertz is a prime example of how the market can shift, especially with the rapid pace of innovation and price drops we're seeing in the EV space.
So are you saying that buying a used EV, even at a bargain price, could be a risky move?
Not necessarily, but it does mean you need to be extra careful and do your homework before you buy. Hertz also found that repairs for EVs are more expensive than for their gas-powered counterparts.
Wait, isn't the whole point of EVs that they're supposed to be cheaper to maintain? Because you don't have all those oil changes and engine parts.
You're right, they do generally require less routine maintenance. However, repairing or replacing the battery pack and other EV-specific components can be quite expensive, especially as the technology is still relatively new and constantly evolving.
So it sounds like there's a lot more to consider than just the sticker price when looking at used EVs.
Absolutely, and that's especially true if you're thinking about buying a used rental car.
Oh, okay.
Think about it. Rental cars go through a lot of wear and tear. They're driven by different people, often not as carefully as someone would drive their own car, and they rack up miles quickly. Yeah, they're not really babied.
Right. Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about it that way. It's not like buying a used car from someone who's been babying it for years, you know?
Exactly. So while the low prices might be tempting, you have to factor in the potential for higher maintenance costs down the line.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's the battery. How do you even know how much life is left in it? That seems like a big unknown with any used EV.
Absolutely. Battery degradation is a real concern. It's kind of like the lifespan of your phone's battery, you know? It gradually loses capacity over time. With EVs, this means the driving range decreases as the battery ages.
Oh, so you're saying if you buy a used EV and it says it has a 200-mile range, that might not actually be true.
Right, exactly. It could be significantly less depending on the age and condition of the battery.
So what can you do? Is there a way to check the battery health before you buy a used EV?
Yes, definitely. A pre-purchase inspection from a qualified mechanic who specializes in EVs is crucial. Think of it like a Carfax report, but for the battery and electrical system.
Oh, okay.
They can assess the overall condition of the vehicle and give you a much better idea of the battery's health and remaining range.
That makes a lot of sense. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially with a big purchase like a car.
Exactly. And, when you're thinking about costs, don't forget to factor in the potential expense of replacing the battery down the line. EV batteries have a limited lifespan and replacements can be pricey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So make sure to, get an estimate for the cost of a battery replacement for the specific model you're considering.
So it sounds like buying a used rental EV can be a good deal, but it's not without its risks. Is there anything else that listeners should keep in mind if they're considering this option?
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, do your due diligence. Research the specific make and model you're interested in, familiarize yourself with common issues, average repair costs, and owner reviews. Don't just jump at the lowest price tag without doing your homework.
Good point. Knowledge is power, especially when you're making a significant investment.
Second, consider your driving needs and usage patterns. If you mainly drive short distances and have access to home charging, a used EV could be a great option. But if you frequently take long trips or rely on public charging, you might want to weigh the pros and cons more carefully. Think about your lifestyle and how an EV fits into it.
Yeah, it's all about finding the right fit for your individual needs and circumstances. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to buying a car, especially a used EV. So what does this all mean for our listeners? What's the takeaway here?
Well, I think the Hertz situation, it really underscores the importance of being a savvy consumer in the used EV market. There are some incredible deals out there, but you need to go in with your eyes wide open.
Yeah, it's like anything else. If a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. You really have to weigh the potential savings against the potential risks.
Exactly. And remember, the used EV market is evolving so rapidly. What might be a good deal today might not be so great a year or two from now. Technology is advancing quickly, and new models with longer ranges and better features are hitting the market all the time.
So do your research, think about your needs, get a pre-purchase inspection, and don't be afraid to walk away if something doesn't feel right.
That's great advice. This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me. I thought I knew a lot about EVs, but the used car market is a whole different ballgame.
Staying here. I'm definitely going to be more cautious when I'm looking for my next car. So what do you think, listeners? Are you considering buying a used EV, maybe one from a rental company?
Or do you already have one?
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of everyday tech. This has been Everyday Tech Explained. Thanks for listening.